Greetings, I'm the man behind the mask, and I'd like to talk to you about hockey. Well, the road to the 2012 Stanley Cup is coming closer to its conclusion now that the conference finals have wrapped up. So, once again, it's time for PK and myself to do a quick recap of the action that was brought to us in this year's conference finals. Let me just dial this thing up here.
Is it time?
Sure is. Ready to go?
I've always got the balls and I'm ready to go.
Some days, I don't even know why I do this. Anyways, as usual, we start in the West, and this time it's with the conference final match between the Phoenix Coyotes and the LA Kings. To tell you the truth, I was a bit disappointed with this one. I honestly thought the scores would have been much closer and that it would have gone the full 7 games and then some with overtime. But the first 3 games were pure LA domination. Even when they weren't playing that well in games 1 and 3, they still managed to win. It wasn't until Phoenix's season was on death's door that the Coyotes actually started to give the Kings some really hard competition. If they had started the series like they played in games 4 and 5, then Phoenix could have potentially taken this series. But I guess it was too little too late. Now the Kings are returning to the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time in 19 years, and only the second time in their club's history.
Who is gonna stop the runaway train that is the LA Kings? If you ask me, Phoenix tried, but they couldn't. They just couldn't handle the offense of the LA Kings. And by the time they actually got around to doing something about it, it was Game 5, the score was tied, and they're heading into overtime. And that's when the LA Kings finally put the nail in the coffin for the season of the Phoenix Coyotes. LA Kings also did something else. They've set a new record for the most away game wins in a playoff championship series. But they're not done yet, because they're now off to the Stanley Cup Finals. So they can extend that by about 2 to 3 more games. And if you ask me, I don't think anyone's going to beat that record for a very long time. Congratulations to the LA Kings. We'll see you guys in the finals.
Flipping this over now to the Eastern Conference Finals, we have the Atlantic Division rivalry of the New York Rangers and the New Jersey Devils. The Rangers have been living dangerously all postseason, and it finally caught up to them. Martin Brodeur stood on his head to steal a few games for the Devils, and New Jersey's fourth-line forwards Gianta, Bernier, and Carter became an unlikely source of offense, combining for 4 goals and 9 points, including the Game 5 winning goal. With the Devils getting offense from so many different sources this year, they have become a very hard team to defend against and are now back in the Cup Finals after a 9-year absence.
6 for 6. I called it. New Jersey wins in 6. Now, if you ask me, I thought this was going to be a goaltender's battle, and it wasn't too bad. However, the Devils didn't look that great. The last 2 games, they were up 2-0, 3-0, and the Rangers came back and tied it up. They tried. The Rangers did try. But the offense of the Devils were just too much for the Rangers. Brodeur's been solid in net. He really hasn't let a lot of goals past him. And he has the experience. I knew this was coming down to basically the goaltending, but I didn't realize that it'd be coming down to having tie games and having to see New Jersey fight it out for the last 2 games. And even in the last game, it went to overtime. However, we now have our Eastern Conference champions, the New Jersey Devils, which now sets us up for the Stanley Cup Finals.
Okay, the conference champions have been determined, and now it all comes down to just two teams, the Los Angeles Kings and the New Jersey Devils. So who do I think will be hoisting the cup at the end of this series? Though the Devils have proven just how tough they can be, with the different lines stepping up whenever their other lines fall short, they have still had plenty of spotty games, primarily in their first-round series against the Panthers, whereas LA has just about dominated their entire playoff run. Though they're only the second 8th seed to ever make it to the finals, they've been playing more like a first or second seed thus far, and I can't see them slowing down anytime soon. I'm going with the Kings in 6 games. Who's your money on this time around, PK?
Now, I think this is going to be a better battle than what we've seen in the past for the LA Kings. It's going to be harder for them because you don't usually play the Eastern teams during the season. The Eastern side has a different style playing than the West, of what I've noticed anyways. Now, we also have the experience of Martin Brodeur, but that's only one man versus a slew of people who are determined to raise that cup. I really got a feeling that the LA Kings are going to come out and show the New Jersey Devils why they deserve the Stanley Cup. They've gone through the first, second, and third place teams, and they've shown everybody else that they are really serious of being here this year. So if you ask me, the LA Kings have got it. They'll take it in 6. It'll be the longest hard-fought battle they've ever had, and I can see a couple of overtimes happening in this series too. So overall, I got a feeling that the LA Kings will be walking away with the Stanley Cup this year.
Alright, you heard it here. Those are our picks for the 2012 Stanley Cup Finals, which starts this coming Wednesday. Thanks for joining me once again, PK.
Hey, I've been enjoying this series. I'm 6 for 6. Let's see if I can make it 7 for 7. Anyways, thanks again for having me on. We'll see you at the end of the Stanley Cup Finals where we have a victor hoisting the cup and we give our thoughts on the whole series.
Well, that's all for now. See you guys again after the Stanley Cup Finals.